summer, we began working with Sam Sadler and Mark Constantine to remove the administration from the student club budget process. We also worked with our finance secretary, Andrew Blasey, and we also worked with Senator Walter McLean in the class of 2009. Both Sam Sadler and Mark Constantine were very receptive to the process, and they understand that because this is student money paid by student fees and administered to student organizations, there's no reason for the administration to be involved in the process.
Additionally, besides just trying to remove the administration, and succeeding obviously, from the student budgeting and funding allocation process, we've also actually worked to remove the student assembly's power from the process and give it back to you, the students. So for instance, with our $600,000 student activities budget, comes up every year, obviously it's a huge chunk of change, and all student organizations are fighting for it, and everyone always ends up getting a little bit less than they want. Usually what happens is that the student assembly president and vice president select 7 members to serve on an executive appropriations committee that does the majority of the work preparing the preliminary budget. In the past, these have been people who are closely associated with members of the student assembly executive, or people that have just been literally begged at the last minute to join, people that don't necessarily have a lot of experience working with student organizations that need this money, and really $50 is a lot, even if it's just out of $600,000. So this year, instead of just picking 7 people that we wanted, we literally ceded that power back to student organizations. We made sure to select a service organization, multicultural organizations, advocacy organizations, entertainment organizations, and special interest organizations. Each of those 5 groups were allowed to select 1 member, whoever they wanted, we couldn't veto it or anything, to sit on that committee and prepare the preliminary budget. In addition, we allowed the graduate council to select 2 graduate school students, again, not people that we necessarily wanted, not people that we even knew, but people that they thought would do a good job representing graduate student interests, just like the advocacy student interests or entertainment group interests, that sort of a thing. Anyway, this group did, in my mind, what was a pretty fantastic job. Typically what ends up happening at the end of this process is that there's budget appeals, and usually you get, past years it's been high 20s to mid 30s number of student organizations appealing their allocation from the budget. This year, with our new transparent budgeting process that we instituted just to give that power back to the student body, we only had 7 appeals. And I think that says a lot about the way that the process worked this year, and that I think a lot of groups, although obviously everyone always gets less money than they want, we cut our own budget in half from what we had requested ourselves, but even though everyone always gets less than what they want, people felt that it was a lot fairer this year, the way that the process went about.
We're very grateful to the students who stepped up to join the EIC and came together to put the budget together in such a short period of time. They really did a wonderful job, and we hope that this process will continue next year. Well, it will certainly continue next year, but we hope that it continues in the years to come.